just for the sake of their political intentions. So this kind of drama things will not work in front of Lord Ramchandra. So there can be many atheists, many demons who might outwardly respect or show respect to Ramchandra, but may not be internally respecting, rather hostile. So that will not work. One has to offer obeisances by knowing that who he is. Even though the darshan of Lord Ramchandra, they are very fortunate who are able to see Lord Ramchandra directly, but yet unfortunate are they, even after seeing Lord Ramchandra, those who are not knowing him, who is he. So those devotees who know who Lord Ramchandra and offer him obeisances, they get the full merit of darshan of Lord Ramchandra. And such devotees are elevated to the platform of devotional service, and they go back with Supreme Personality of Godhead. They entered the dham of Lord Ramchandra, Ayodhya dham, in spiritual abode. Similarly, touching the lotus feet, who have taken shelter of lotus feet, whose life and soul is the lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra, who touch the lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra with devotion, who also respect Lord Ramchandra as the great king, great affectionate king, who treated all of the citizens like a father. So knowing that, many devotees respected Lord Ramchandra as the dearmost king, father-like king. They are also elevated to Ayodhya. There are many friends like Sugriva and many other friend-like people who served Lord Ramchandra. They are also promoted to the spiritual abode. Similarly, just by accompanying with love and devotion, many devotees accompanied. When Lord wanted to go Vanavas, many Ayodhyavasi tried to accompany him, even though Lord convinced them somehow to return and be in Ayodhya. So that is their love and dedications, that they always wanted to be with Lord. So they are the full-time devotees, dedicated devotees. They can give up their family affairs and ready to be with Lord Ramchandra. So the attachment, the attraction for Lord Ramchandra and the dedication to give up all this material happiness, material belongings and material responsibility is the point of dedications. What make them? Two things. One is the remembrance of Lord Ramchandra and the carelessness toward the attachment of sense enjoyment. That is the 2.2 raise of the status quo in the material world is one, the great cause of our suffering is that we have forgotten our relationship with God. Second is that due to we have forgotten, as a living entity we need to be attached in a loving relationship with somebody. If we are not in loving devotional service with Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we will seek that in new kind of relationship which may be lusty desire, which may be a material kind of relationship, and which might have some selfish interest, exchange of getting some benefit from others and setting a relationship. So this kind of material relationship, either we do maintain a spiritual relationship with Supreme Personality of Godhead, or we will downgrade ourselves to maintain a material relationship with many people. The main reason is that we have forgotten our actual sambandha with Lord. So those who happen to see Lord Ramachandra and out of love and affections they try to serve Lord Ramachandra, so they raised their status from material anchoring to the remembrance of the Lord. So automatically their attachment for material life has gone and they are living in a detached life. Jnanam Vairagyam are the two important sword that can cut the bondages of material life. Chinnante sarva sansaya drushta eva atman ishvare. When one is able to know that he is part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead and his duty is to serve him, and through service only he can be happy. So that is the state of devotional knowledge, jnana. Jnana yoga. It's not the mere speculative knowledge through which one try to understand who he is. Sometimes he ignores about who is the master of him, ignorant about Supreme Personality of Godhead. And through his speculative knowledge, he sometimes thinks that he himself is God. That is waste of time. But the jnana which is taken from Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita and is understood through a bona fide representative devotee is the jnana that destroys avidya. So avidya is destroyed means the forgetfulness of our relationship is destroyed and the sambandha, the relationship with Lord is realized. That is how it is very powerful. When Supreme Personality of Godhead comes, all those living entities happen to be during that time are very, very fortunate. Just by seeing, even though enemies, they are also got benefited by getting killed by Supreme Personality of Godhead. One may not, Vishwanath Chakravarti could explain that. One may not think that if that is the way, then everybody will think that let us become enemy and get liberated. So that is explained. By seeing Lord Ramachandra, devotees are so joyful and these enemies are so pained. See the great difference in this living life also. And what they will get, these enemies? They may get Brahma Sajujya. And devotee neglects Brahma Sajujya. It is the most insignificant thing. By Brahma Sajujya, one may again come back to this material world. So Brahma Sajujya is completely rejected by the devotees. Bhukti mukti swaha bhina je bhakta labhaiti tako sanghero rakta. Here it is not mentioned that these devotees who are offering obeisances, touching his lotus feet, knowing that Ramachandra, the most Dayalu Raja, and sitting with him, talking with him like friends, or just accompanying him, are going back to the abode of Lord Ramachandra Ajayodhya. They are not going to Brahmajyoti, are not going to Brahmasajujya Mukti. That is the biggest opportunity that devotee can get. And without proper affection, love and affection for Lord Ramachandra, the accompanying him or talking to him offensively or with a inimical attitude, with a uh, not positive attitude, one will not be able to get this. Darshan has a merit. He might get some elevations, but he will not be elevated to the abode of Lord Ramchandra. Even enemies who are the toughest enemy, worthiest enemy, they fought and got killed, they might get Brahma Samsara. So always take Anukulya Krishna Anusulanam. Pratikulya Vajrana Angikaram. Pratikulya Vajrana Angikaram. One must give up all kind of inimical feelings, all kind of opposite to devotional service must be given up immediately. So our practice of Krishna consciousness should be by following the lotus feet of a devotee. You may follow the path of Lord Hanuman. You may follow the path of Vibhishan, Sugriv, Jambavan. So many devotees. Like that, one should follow the footsteps, especially one should follow the Char Sampradaya, Brahmamadhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya, and should hear from a bona fide devotee how he can please Supreme Personality of Godhead. Manamana Bhava Madbhakta Madhjaji Mam Namaskuru. That is the four foundational principles of Krishna consciousness. Manamana. Try to think about Supreme Personality of Godhead. All these devotees, all these five categories of devotees, they are continuously thinking about Lord Ramachandra. So getting the state of Manmana is easy when Lord is personally exhibiting his pastimes and one is happen to participate in that. Very easily their mind will be completely absorbed in the thought of Lord Ramachandra. When certain great things happens, like our thought automatically goes to that. Suppose India just won World Cup, like automatically the thought went to those people, the player, the cricket, etc., whatever, especially those who are interested in the news of cricket. So when Lord Ramachandra is performing pastimes, suppose the election happened, so many people were thinking about either Modi, Rahul Gandhi or whatever. So when certain things happens, then the inhabitants automatically their thought goes there. But when the performance of the topmost activities happens by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, automatically the attention of everybody goes. Even though some enemies have a antagonistic feelings, but they have still no choice but to think about Lord Ramachandra. All other in a Anukulya Bhakti, they have fully absorption on the thought of Ramachandra, because that is the topmost and hottest news of the time. So automatically it is the topmost attention for everybody. And those who are devoted to Lord, attracted to the exquisite beauty of Lord Ramachandra, and so attracted, like people say, are fan of some celebrities, they continuously think during their every activities, like sleeping and while getting fashionized and all others, they follow the celebrities. Similarly, when Lord Ramachandra is there and people who are attracted to Lord Ramachandra, this always meditate upon the life and activities of Lord Ramachandra and try to follow the principles of Ramachandra. So that is the way that their thought is absorbed in the activities, life and activities of Lord Ramachandra. That is called Manmana. If one has attained the state of Manmana, then he is a first-class devotee. And enemies, they have attained a state of also Manmana, but in a negative feeling, like Kansa. Ravana. They are always thinking about Krishna Ramachandra, and they never have a time to free themselves from the fear of Lord Rama or Krishna. That is the reason they were continuously thinking Lord Rama or Krishna. So they got the Brahma Sajujya due to a negative feeling. So Manmana is a great state not achieved so easily, and it's very easy when one happen to participate in the pastimes of the Lord. That is why it is recommended that one should live in a dham, so that his remembrance on Lord's pastimes will be the topmost. If one is very wise, then he should live with Sri Guru, because when one lives with Sri Guru, Guru Sajjasana, Guru Pitodaka, Guru Anugamana. So like these are the three most powerful activities one should accompany Guru and try to serve him. When Guru goes to bed, one should prepare the bed, should message the lotus feet, and when Guru need to be served with prasadam. So one must do after Guru take prasadam, he can take the remnants Mahaprasad. When after Guruji sleeps, he can sleep, and whenever Guru goes, he will not come to the front. He will be always behind of the Guru. Take care of all the needs of Sri Guru. So that is the recommendation of the scriptures. By this kind of service, his mind is absorbed in the service of Sri Guru, and automatically the thought of Krishna will be there. So the absorption into the activities of spiritual master, and when Lord Krishna is especially performing the pastimes in dhams, etc., if one is absorbed in the life and activities of Lord, then he will be able to raise himself to the state of Manmana. In essence, all these five kind of devotees are already in the state of Manmana due to their absorptions in the thought of Lord Ramachandra. So they are eligible to enter into the planet of Ayodhya. So it is the state of mind that decides. It is not that just the place or just the time. Place and time are advantages, but that place and time also raise the state of the devotees. The state of the devotees Manmana, and those who are in the state of Manmana, they may not be directly in Ayodhya. They may not have taken birth during the performance of pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, but after many years, even just remembering the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, they yet raise themselves to the state of Manmana. So whether they were in Ayodhya or right now in Kali Yuga, if they are able to remember Lord, if they are able to raise themselves to the state of Manmana, then they can get the blessings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and go back Godhead. So that is the way it is recommended in Bhagavad Gita. One should become a devotee by continuously remembering how he can please Supreme Personality of Godhead, and with all of his activities should always try to offer obeisances. In this way, he will definitely go back Godhead. So that is the state which was achieved by all the Ajodhya-vasis. So they all got the abode of Lord Ramachandra. So transcendental pastimes of Lord is not understood by ordinary people, and this is the most important sloka of Bhagavad Gita. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvatah tektva deham punarjanma naiti mameti. So Arjuna. The Charama sloka is the state of surrenderness. 65 sloka. So, but when one knows the life and activities of Lord Ramchandra, Lord Krishna, as it is, then he automatically attains all this topmost state. He automatically surrenders himself. So janma karma, knowing the life and activities of Lord, is very important. One who knows the transcendental nature, even though he acts in various ways, in the three modes of material nature, he knows that the Prakriti is working under the supervision of the Lord, and Prakriti never affects Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prakriti is a subservient to Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am also being engaged by the material modes of nature, Prakriti Kriyamanani, Gunai Karma Sarvasa, and he has no Ahankara, no Vimudatma. Ahankara Vimudatma, Kahata Hamiti Manyate. He never claims that I am the doer and I will be the enjoyer. Rather, he surrender all the activities and the result of those activities for the service of Lord. And in that way, by being aware of the Janma Karma, the transcendental nature of these activities, he surrenders himself to the service of the Lord and go back to the spiritual efforts. So that is the divine principles, how one should go back to Godhead. So if one is able to execute first class devotional service, he becomes perfect by participating in the various services of the Lord in his capacities called Prakriti Leela. Whether you are in the pastimes of the Lord during his incarnations or after, doesn't matter a lot. But when you are able to continue your devotional service, Prakriti Leela is here devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master, you will get same status of elevating to the spiritual abode. Jat gatva na nivartante tat dhamma paramam mama. After entering into this abode, nobody is ever required to return back. So, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is completely merciful and Sanatana Dhamma. Paras tasmat bhavo anyo abhyukta abhyuktat sanatanaha. Where all the eternal loving pastimes are continuously exchanged with Supreme Personality of Godhead in various kind of relationships, maybe as servitude, maybe as parenthood, maybe as friendly, maybe as servanthood, or maybe as conjugal lover. So by this, a devotee can elevate himself to the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and eternally can serve him. One need to be continuously engaged in these pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are always engaged. Nitya Leela Aswadana. Those who Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, who regulatively, every day, every moment, serve Supreme Personality of Godhead with utmost dedications, reverence and services. They are already in the platform of Nitya Leela Pravishta. Nitya Leela Pravishta means who is entering into the eternal abode of Lord, to be continuously engaged in the service of the Lord. When they are already in this state, so there is nothing to do more. Lord just has to promote. Sometimes this is having an representations like one has to practice devotional service, regulative devotional service. Yet, he may not be able to elevate. Krupa Shakti is very much important. Bina महत कृपा बिना कोनो कार्य सिद्धि नहीं. कृष्ण भक्ति दूरे थाओ संसार नहीं खाए. कृष्ण भक्ति में remain very far, even though one may try on his own accord that he might be able to perfect himself by the process of devotional service, chanting, hearing, remembering, etc. Even though they are very powerful, chanting, hearing, because of the state of manmana is not there, which is like when the internal dedication is not there, the external activities have very little thing to do. But you may get up to Swargalaka, you may get Mukti, Sajajya Mukti also. They all can be granted, but Prema will not be granted. That is called Gona Patha. Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Asanta Krishna Bhakta Niskama Atayava Santa. मुख्य पथे जीव पाए कृष्ण प्रेम धन भक्ति मुक्ति स्पृहा विहीन जे भक्त लभैते ताको संगे अनुरक्त. That kind of devotee who is freed from the desire of bhukti means sense enjoyment, mukti means liberation, siddhi means various perfections. Those try to get in a tantrika, showcase themselves to be transcendental people and cheat people with their so-called prestiges and earning money mentality. They are called siddhis, are waste of time. So bhukti, mukti or siddhi are all guna pathas, are no better than any material desire. So are material desires. And one who is completely freed from material desire, even mukti ichha is regarded as desire, because one wants to free from the material sufferings, but he has not thought of pleasing Krishna. So pleasing Krishna, getting freed from suffering is okay, but pleasing Krishna objective is not there. Then what is the use? Again he will fall in the trap. So one cannot solve the problems of material world. One has to get out of this material world. That is the objective. How one can get out of this material world? By developing vairagya and changing all of his activities to please Krishna. That is the mean. So one can do such things only by the process of considering God as a person, not God as a personal Brahman. When one thinks that God as a personal Brahman to whom he will feed, to whom he will offer his obeisances, whose lotus feet he will touch, where he will get the nectar of devotional services, how he will release. Tabo bhaktera durbala jivana. Even though such devotee is eating sumptuously, getting all the kind of bodily needs, but his life is very weak, who is not getting this mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is not drinking the nectar of the pastimes of the Lord, who is not touching the lotus feet of the Lord, who is not smearing his head with the dust of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his life is just a waste of time. He will not get any kind of pleasure, dukham aptu ayogata, because of not being testing the loving devotional service. His life is becoming a waste. What is the use of such kind of happiness? Such happiness is not a happiness. So devotees reject such kind of happiness. Only thing that we can have is through a personal relationship, knowing that Lord is persons and choose a particular type of relationship which is exhibited by the mercy of Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, and serves him. Even he enjoys the loving devotion service of spiritual abode in this very lifetime here itself, and is so eligible to promote to the planet of Godheads. It is not at all artificial. who is eligible, he will realize that same mukta ananda in this planet itself, and he will be elevated. Nothing artificial. The state and positions are also realized in this. Then only his state can be elevated to spiritual planet. Hare Krishna. तुमकी जय गुरु महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल।